Today I'm looking at Late in the Day by Supergrass. So this one is quite complicated. There's a lot of chords in this. None of them are that difficult to play. As long as you can play basic bar chords, you'll be fine with this. But there's a lot of chords to put together to make up the whole song. Underrated band, I think. Great songwriter, and just this is a really good song. Okay, I'll get straight into it. So there's 3 sections in this song, and I've called them A, B and C, just for the purpose of learning the song. I'll probably do these in at least 2 separate videos, possibly 3. But yeah, we'll start with the A section. So the A section is what happens as an intro, and it's also part of the verse. So the chords involved are D major 7, which is played like this, first finger flat over the highest 3 strings at the 2nd fret. You may already know some of these chords, but just in case. We play 4 strings for that. Okay, we'll look at the sort of rhythm separately. So the next chord is F major 7, played like this. There's different ways to play this chord, but the one we want is this. So I've got nothing on the 6th string, and I'm going to avoid that with the pick, or mute it by touching it from underneath with that finger. This one's on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, then we've got 3rd fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and the 1st string is open. So we've got this, nothing on this one, and then we've got an A minor. You probably know that one, just standard A minor, 5 strings. Then we've got one which is actually an A13 sus chord, which is a bit of an odd name, but the actual shape's quite easy. You basically take your 3rd finger away from the A minor, which now looks like an A minor 7, slide along 2 frets, and we play 5 strings again, like this. It's quite a nice chord, that one. Then we've got an F bar chord. You probably already know this one, but just in case you don't, it's barring across the 1st fret, every string. 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. 4th finger on the 4th string, 3rd fret. 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. Sounds like this. The next one's a B flat bar chord. This is a chord that you probably already know, but there's 2 ways to play it. The sort of technically the correct way to play this chord is like this. It's an A-shaped bar chord. But the way it sounds like he's playing it in the original song, it's a little bit easier. It's a shape that a lot of people use for this, which is where you don't actually bar here, you just have it on the 5th string. And then use your 3rd finger to flatten down over the thinnest 4 strings. But we don't want to play the 1st string, you don't want to hear this. So you just want to hear the middle 4. Now if it's difficult to avoid that string, just try it with this finger, lifting it up slightly so it's just touching that last string but muting it. So it's not actually getting the note. Now it's worth getting into the habit of doing that if you can do that, because then you can strum and you don't have to worry about avoiding that string. So that's B flat. Then we go back to an F bar chord, back to the B flat, back to the F. And those 2 shapes I just played, which is B flat to F, I'm going to repeat that at 5th position, which is a D to an A. Right, okay, so now I'm going to strum through those chords in order. D major 7, F major 7, A minor, A13 sus, F, B flat, F, B flat, F, D, A. So that's the intro to the song. It's also the first part of the verse. Just a quick thing to mention, when you watch him play this live, he adds a chord in here. It's not difficult, it's an easy chord, but it's quite nice, but he only does it live, didn't do it on the original. So the second chord, which is the F major 7, halfway through playing that one, he takes his second finger away, so the third string becomes open. That's kind of an F major 7 sus2 chord. It does sound nice. If I just play the first few chords but include that one, it sounds like this. So it's quite a nice thing to add in if you want to. Only other thing to mention here is this sequence repeats in the verse just before it goes to the B section. And when you get to the last chord, the A, instead of just staying on A, it changes to an A7 halfway through, which is just taking the little finger away. So I'm just going to play the A section for the last time, so I'll include that chord on the end. So that's the A7. Actually, it's not halfway through, it's an added chord on the end of the sequence. So that's the A section. Now in terms of the rhythm, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what downstrokes and upstrokes are being played, and we could do that, but it's, you know, make this lesson about 2 hours long. So the main thing I would say about any strumming rhythm is that you want to try and keep this arm moving constantly at the fastest speed that it needs to. So in other words, if the strum has some slow bits and some faster parts, you need to move your hand as far, or your arm as fast as the faster parts. And on the slower parts, it just means you're moving past the strings sometimes and not hitting the strings. But it's very important to keep that moving. So on this song, it's this kind of speed. So that's the speed your arm needs to kind of move. And then you just hit the strings, move out slightly to miss the strings sometimes. I know it's a bit vague, but this is the way you'll get the hang of the strum. You may be someone that can already strum anyway and you'll just pick it up naturally, but just in case, it's worth thinking about that if not. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just move this sort of speed. So you get the idea, it's just kind of moving like this all the time. But there's a couple of little rhythmic things just to mention. When we're on the A minor and we go to this odd chord here, the A sort of 13 sus, you just before you change to that chord, you stay on the A minor and take this finger away, ready to go to that one. But you play the strings here when you're here before you move to there, so you actually move there a little bit late. So it's not this. So 2 beats on each chord, it's not quite that. It's this. So you just stay there for slightly longer than you would have thought you had to. And just move up. So there's a little delayed chord change, which sounds quite cool. It doesn't affect the rhythm of the song, so you've still got to play the right number of beats for that bar. Like that. So it might take a bit of practice. And then there's a few chord changes which are quite quick when you get to the bar chord. The B flat's very quick, and so is the D. Like this. Now, if you know the song, you'll probably get that just by sound. Okay, if you have problems with this, and if several people comment with problems getting the rhythm right on this song, then let me know, and I'll do another video on specifically what the strum is. So that's the A section. Okay, so the B section for this song, I'm dividing this, for the purpose of learning it, I'm dividing it into part 1 and part 2. So we've got B part 1, B part 2. So part 1, A bar chord. Now we were on the A7 at the end of the A section, so it's easy just to put the little finger back on. You've got the A bar chord, which is 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. we go from that one to the F major 7 that we played earlier. So you move down like this to like an F bar chord, but then move that first finger down to just the second string. So the first string's open and we're not using the 6th. It's just like this. Quick thing to mention, there's a little passing chord that they add in when they play it live, which I really like, but it's definitely not on the original, from what I can hear anyway. Let me know if you think it is. But live, going between the A and the F major 7, they put a G bar chord in, which is exactly like the A, but third position. So on the original recording it sounds like this. Live it sounds like this. I quite like that sort of step down, but for the purpose of the lesson I won't put that in when I demonstrate it because it's only on the live ones. So A, F major 7, we'll run through the chords and we'll look at the rhythm. And here, the thing I mentioned earlier in the A section where I said that live they take that finger away halfway through on the F major 7, he does do that on the original recording at this point. So it's F major 7, then that one which is kind of a major 7 sus2. Then we go to E sus4, think of an E chord with the little finger on the 3rd string. Now normally when you get this chord in a song it resolves, so it changes back to usually an E major, sometimes an E minor, but normally it will go to a major. So normally in a song it would do this. Or sometimes. In this song it doesn't resolve. So ordinarily I would play that chord in a song and I'd have this one there behind it because I'm ready to resolve to the E. But in this song I don't need to do that. So you may find you just want to have 3 fingers on. And you could use those 3, but I quite like doing it like this because it feels more like a standard E sus4 that resolves. So I've basically got what looks like an A chord moved across. So 2nd fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret on the 4th, 2nd fret on the 3rd. And you can play all of the strings. So that's E sus4. Then we've got, this one's a funny one to hear in the song. It took me a while to suss out what I think this one is. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. I think it's a G13 played like this. So that's this shape, which is 3rd fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret on the 5th, 3rd fret on the 4th, and then the top 3 strings are open. So we've got this. So I'm just going to play through that section. That's the end of what I call B part 1. Okay, now the rhythm that I'm doing, you can embellish this a bit, and he does when he plays it, but it's basically this kind of rhythm on this section where you play 2 strums, but the first one's a small one where you mainly hit the bass notes. So on an A chord, I'll do a small strum followed by a full strum like this. And I'm playing all of the strings on the full strum. And that's the kind of rhythm, just over and over again like this. All downstrokes. So when I demonstrated it a second ago, that's all I did. Just downstrokes. And again, like I mentioned earlier, this hand's just moving constantly. There's no stops, no pauses. So that's the B section part 1.